Hello again. This is Tommy Charles, the CEO of the Speakers of Organization LLC. And this is a video that I wanted to create because I think this is a very important video. And I want to name this video "Anybody Can Be Like That." Anyone could do that. If I wanted to subtitle this video, I would subtitle it "Anybody Can Do That." Anybody can be that way. And this is a video that I want to, that I really sincerely encourage all parents and guardians to go get their children. I don't care if they're teenagers, small children. I don't care if they're in their 20s. I don't care if they're in their 30s. I think all parents and guardians need to sit down with their children and watch this video or some things that I'm going to say, some things that I'm going to mention. And this topic will be a subject that you all need to discuss among yourselves, between child, parent, child, and guardian. It doesn't matter, because this is some important things. There's some changes that need to be done. There's some changes that need to be done. People, we as people have to wise up, and we as people have to have the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to be able to examine ourselves to see what are we in this world. Are we a positive force, or are we a negative force in this world? And that's what we as human beings on this earth need to examine ourselves. And I want to just bring some things up to all parents and guardians, and I want to bring some things to people's attention as far as the children. A child, even if a child is 20, 30, 40, 50 years old, they're always going to be their mother's child. And that's just the way it is. But some things that's very important that I just want to mention. And that's one thing where our company, the Speakers of Organization LLC, this is something that we do. And I want to encourage people and tell people that I need you to consider yourselves and examine yourselves. Truly examine yourselves and see what type of individual you are. And it matters what you are. It matters what you're doing. It matters because what you're doing, what you're thinking, and how you act, including your imaginations, dictate what type of world we live in. And that's every individual on this earth, including me. And I want to bring some attention. I want my goal for this video is to challenge people to live the best that they can be. That's my challenge that I want to bring before you. And I want to examine yourselves, because there's a lot of things that's going on this earth that should not be. This world is out of order. This world is out of system. The system is all haywire. And what's making it like this is the human beings of the earth. What's making it like this is humanity. We have people, I look at my own childhood when I was coming up. I was born, not born, I'm not going to say born, but ever since I was 3 years old, all the way until I was in the first grade, I lived on the street named Spokane in Detroit, Michigan. And that's over there near Joy Road and Grand River area on the west side of Detroit. I lived there, and when we moved from there, from a two-family flat, we moved into a single home on the corner of North Line and Interville on the west side of Detroit. And that's the area of Wyoming and Schoolcraft. I attended a school called Quarters Elementary. That's on the corner of Davidson and Roseline. I think they closed that school. Then I went to a middle school called Noble Middle School, and that's on Fullerton, between Indiana and Cherry Line on the west side of Detroit. And then I went to Mackenzie. Noble's middle school is still open as far as I know. Then I went to Mackenzie High School. And they since tore the high school down, and now they have a Mackenzie Middle School. That's on Wyoming, between Chicago and Oakland. And during my school years, going to school, my neighbor, it wasn't, I'm not going to get into details, but I did mention a little in my books, as you see before me, Kept Secrets, volumes 1, 2, and 3. That's the first, one book, two books. The third book is Laying Down. And and the subtitle is The Book of Answers. And I bring a lot of information out in these books, not about my life, but about the world systems. But when I was coming up as a child, I feel like a lot of children were the way they were. They were bullies, a lot of negative talking, a lot of drugs, marijuana, weed. Then when crack came out, crack. And I feel like a lot of people turn to these things, and they wear these things because they lack maturity, they lack mental strength, they lack mental power, they lack control. So a lot of children, even today, are more like wild animals. And today, society is a little worse than what it was back then, but it's not that much if you ask me. Because I think the difference is back in the day and times past, a lot of things were easily hidden. A lot of things that people did in the schools were easily hidden, where now things are more open because of the information and how quick we can pull up information and see different things through the internet or whatever. So, but I still think times are worse. I always knew times were going to be worse. Even when I was a child at 11, 12 years old, I always knew things were going to be worse because it was dictated in the Bible, in the book of Revelations, and also in the book of Daniel. It was always told. But I used to always wonder, who are these people that's going to be worse and terrible than what some people are today? And it turns out they look just like you and they look just like me. They're in all the Asian culture, the Caucasian culture, the so-called black culture that they call, which is a black and white is not a culture. They're in all cultures, all people, good, bad, evil, wicked, righteous, and it's in every culture of the earth. It's throughout all humanity. But when I was coming up, there was a lot of children that were, I just heard a lot of conversations that was just terrible for children to speak. And what it is, I'm going to tell you what makes, and this is not what I'm about to say to everybody, but if this hits you, let it hit you. Weak-minded people are followers. Weak-minded people just go with the flow. Weak-minded people are concerned about what other people think. So whatever the masses of people say, whatever is dictated in your atmosphere that you live in, and if you're just doing it to go with the flow or to be accepted, then you have to question yourself and ask yourself, and really just reason with yourself and let yourself know that you're just really a weak-minded individual. We live in a time where everybody gets tattoos. So should I tattoo my body up because everybody else is getting tattoos? Society dictated through the music industry, through rap artists, and through television that children should walk around with their pants hanging off their behind, showing their underwear. And in my culture, that's showing a great disrespect to our culture for children to walk around. But is it just my culture that walks around like that? No. Yeah, the Asian people and the Caucasian people that's doing the same thing. Walking around with their pants because that's what you all say in this time of life, that's cool. But you do not understand how terrible it is. So everything that mainstream kick to you, is that what you're going to do? Are you, if everything that comes through your television screen, your computer screen, your tablet screen, your telephone screen, are you going to do it? That's a weak mentality. That's a weak mind. Like I tell people, and I mentioned in my other video, you may be able to bench press 400 pounds 20 times straight. But if your mind is weak, then you have to ask yourself, what are you? Why is it that you can't stand against things that you know is wrong? Why is it that you're so eagerly and so excited and happy to be accepted and do those things and promote those things that are wrong? I go into, when I remember a child, if I go up to any child, no matter if they're a teenager, a small child, grown adult, and if I ask them, do you love your mother, do you love your father, do you love your grandmother, your grandfather, whoever, your brothers, your sisters, your cousins if you're close, and if I ask any person, do you love them, a person is basically going to say, that child or that relative is basically going to tell me, yes, yeah, I love my mother, I love my father, I love my sisters, I love my brothers. You see, they go. That's what they're going to say. But yet they do things worthy to get themselves in trouble that brings burdens on their mother and their father and their loved ones. When you go out and commit a crime, if you go out and you kill, steal, cheat, rob, and when you do those type of things, and now you get in trouble for it, the law's caught up with you, and now you're facing prison time, jail time. It doesn't just affect you, it affects your parents. Now you brought grief on your mother, your father, and those that love you. But yet, those are the same people that you say you love. But and you have no control. You see, a foolish son and a foolish daughter cause grief on their parents. It's not my job to be your friend. It's not my job to be accepted by any of you. My job is to speak truth to you. My job is to be real with you. That's my job, and that's my responsibility. My job is not, even if it cuts to the heart, it doesn't matter to me, long as I told you the truth. And it's your job to take this constructive criticism and change your life around. If you say you love your mother, your parents, your guardians, and everybody else that you love, but yet you commit crimes, you on drugs. Now I remember years ago in the 80s, there was a president called his name was President Reagan. He had a wife whose name was Nancy Reagan. That president has since passed. He's living in eternity right now. His wife came out, this was in the early 80s when crack would start, you know, it was beginning to get big and popular. A lot of people would started using it. And his wife, Nancy Reagan, came out, she used to come out on television and say, just say no to drugs. That's basically what she said, just say no. And that became the slogan, of course, because that was the first lady of this country. And she came up with the slogan, just say no. So that, you know, when a president or somebody important says something, the media, the television programs, they all get on board and they promote and they say, and that's just the way of the world. So when she said that, just say no, actually, that's a real good, true statement. Just say no. When you offer drugs, just say no to it. I remember when she came up with that slogan, there were comedians that was coming out making jokes about it as if that was a weak statement. Just say no, as if it was a weak statement, but it's not. When I was coming up, I was offered up drugs. When I got, especially in middle school and high school, when I went to Noble Middle School and when I went to Mackenzie High School, I was getting offered drugs almost every day. I was getting offered drugs, weed, basically weed. And my answer would always be no. And the people that knew me and really knew me, they knew I didn't do drugs. Neither was I interested in doing drugs at that time in my life. So it was easy for me to say no, and I did I didn't do it because she said it, but I did. What caused me to not even want to even accept drugs in my life was the fact that my mother used to take us to church. And I think that's why today I feel like it's very important for parents to take their child to church, because there's a lot of things when I was coming up that I didn't do and that I didn't say, and lines that I didn't cross, because I knew about the Most High God. And I knew He was true, I knew He was real. That was one thing that kept me in check. So I had no desire to do a lot of things. I had no desires to commit a criminal life, to become a criminal. At that time, it was easy for me to live legally within the law. But today we have children that's worse. We have children that's disrespecting teachers, putting their hands on teachers, getting up in teachers' faces, cursing them out as if they're a child, somebody their age. That's a terrible thing to be. But yet you say you love your mother and you love your father. But then I also have to say this. If a child doesn't have anything to fear as far as punishment at home, then he or she will come out and act a fool and act like a wild animal as a person with no standards. And the Most High God is seeing that, because the world system and people forget about the Most High. But then yet you have all these children that's weak-minded that want to impress their peers and want to make themselves, this is what I do, as if I'm rough and tough, to the point to where they disrespect their teachers, fighting teachers. That's a bunch of foolishness. And I have to blame the parents, because if the parents laid down the law in the house and really laid down the law, their children wouldn't go out and do that. Their children wouldn't go out to the school and be fighting teachers. Even when I was in school, you had your bad students and students that cursed and did all types of things, but they respected adults. They had standards. It's like a gangster or a thug. Somebody, I don't care if they was whatever, the mafia, some type of gang or whatever. The thing is back then, a lot of thugs and criminals still had, they had morals, even in their evilness. They had standards. They didn't disrespect elderly people. They didn't disrespect their parents. They didn't respect certain people they wouldn't disrespect. Even if they was evil and did all types of things out of the sight of adults, when they were in the presence of certain adults, they would keep themselves in check. They didn't just curse and let everything or anything fly out of their mouths in front of adults. But today, things are worse in that sense. And I'm going to tell you all, and I need you all to listen clearly, because this is what's going to happen. When you going to school, disrespecting your teachers, putting your hands and fighting your teachers, getting up in your teachers' faces cursing, as if there's no authority figure needed for you, or you have no respect for authority. And then when you're in your neighborhoods and you're acting the fool and you're clowning, and the crowd that's immature, ooh, he didn't say that, a bunch of instigators. You see, weak-minded people, because that's what children and teenagers do. They like to be accepted. They're weak-minded. They're not, let me tell I'm speaking to you all, little young children. You're not mature. You're not a full-grown man and you're not a full-grown woman, so you have a lot of immaturity in you. That's why you act the way you do. That's why you say the things you say. That's why it's important for you to please your peers, instead of being strong and being your own boy and being your own girl and say, you know what, I'm not doing that, or I'm not saying that, or I'm not going to act like that. Now that's strength. That's mental power. Anybody can be a fool. Anybody can be a drug dealer. Anybody could be a pimp. Anybody can go to school and act a fool. Anybody can go to school and clown. Anybody can put their hands on their teachers and cuss their teachers out. Anybody can be in the midst of clowns and immature people and be just like them. It don't take no strength for that. Anybody can go out and be a criminal and rob people, snatch purses, rob stores. Anybody can do that. So what are you doing that's different? Anybody can go out and tattoo their bodies. Anybody can keep up with the newest slang. That's always changing. Anybody can do that. So where's your proof of your mental strength? Just because you may be good with your hands, good with your mouth, anybody can basically do those things. It doesn't take any mental strength. But what I want to say to you all, and what I want to bring to your attention, and if it doesn't happen in my lifetime, it may happen in yours. This is what you're going to do, and this is what you're doing. Because now I'm about to kick to you how the people that's in power look at you. And I'm talking about all cultures that want to act a fool, because there's bad, evil, wicked criminals in all cultures. I'm not just talking about my culture. I'm talking about everybody who wants to live like an animal, who wants to say, I'm a beast, and compare themselves like an animal instead of an intelligent human being that the Most High God has created you to be. This is what's going to happen. You have people that's in power, or politicians, people that's in power that control the politicians. You have people that's connected to the politicians, that's connected to the people that control the politicians, that owns major corporations. And they pull strings and they can cause things to happen. And now they're looking at you. And what they're saying is, you all don't know how to govern yourselves. You don't know how to control yourselves. So now, in their eyes, your life is not worth anything. Because now you live your life as an animal, and we see this. We see that you're living your life as an animal. We see that you don't know how to govern yourselves. We see that you don't know how to control yourselves. You're like the wild animals of the field. A lion and a shark, a killer whale, a hyena, an eagle, a hawk, a falcon. All of those type of animals, they can kill because they are animals and the Most High God has created them so. So since sin has entered into the world with the fall of who we know as Adam, now the animals has begun to kill themselves. But a lion and an animal could kill themselves. A dog can go and fight each other and steal each other's food. And animals do in the sea, the birds of the air, and all animals, that's their nature. And they will not be punished for what they do because they do not have a soul. A dog doesn't have a soul. A cat doesn't have a soul. Insects don't have souls. You understand? The fish of the sea and all living creatures in the waters, they have no soul. But yet humanity still takes up form, and rightfully so. Because any person that abused a dog, abused a cat, they get arrested, right? But yet those animals, they don't have a soul. So they can treat each other wrong and fight each other. And the Most High God do not punish them for that. But you, that's supposed to be human beings, you that have a soul, you that have a spirit, you who the Most High God has created to be intelligent, smart, wise, full of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that you can gain, but yet you choose to be a fool. Yet you choose to be foolish. Yet you choose to be a clown. Yet you choose to be evil, wicked, sinful, and out of control. So now those evil people that's on the top, that's pulling the strings, that cause your life, inflation to go up, gas prices to go up, prices to go down. They had the power to start wars and end wars. They can put down any policies on the earth that they want to. Now they're looking at you. And they're saying you acting like clowns and wild animals. You cannot govern yourselves. And what you're about to do is give them a big excuse, because their agenda is to implement and to put in effect martial law. And because of your foolishness and your immaturity, and you all are all into your own little world, in your own little neighborhoods, on your own little blocks, in your own little household or your apartment building, townhome complex or whatever, neighborhood, and your mind is so wrapped up into the foolishness of that, that you don't even understand the big picture of the world, of what's going on and what is going to happen. And you don't want martial law to come into effect, because now they can come in, when the martial law, they can come in your, when martial law happens, they can come in your house anytime they want to. Nothing you could say. They can walk all through your house. Nothing you could say and do about it. You have to be in at a certain time. My culture, you think they're killing us now? Why do you think police officers could kill now? Why do you think a police officer is comfortable with taking the life of my people, basically, and feel comfortable at it? Because that ruling and that okay comes from the top. If the people at the top would say, you know what, if you out here and you killing people that do not deserve death, you're going to have a price to pay. Now, if they put their a stamp on something like that to their police officers, a police officer wouldn't be out here just killing people for no reason, tasing people that's handcuffed them, and I'm talking about my culture now, and just tasing them 4 times until they die, shooting them for no reason, killing them, because they know when that justice is for them. They know they're going to get off. They know they're only going to get a slap on the wrist. Okay, so that's the way it is. And then I'm talking about my culture when I say this. So now while you out acting the fool, acting the clown, you're messing it up for everybody. And then what our people used to do is, let's go march. But then you go out, okay, we're feeling emotional about this situation that happened today and for these few weeks, or maybe these couple of months, or whatever it may be. And we're feeling a little sorrow and emotional about this thing. So let's get together, get a rally, and let's hold hands and let's go march. And then after your march, the same people that was in power before your march and doing your march is now in power after your march still. And then you think their emotions change because you went out and marched? Wake up. So you understand. So when you're walking around with your pants hanging off your behind and off your booty, you're a disgrace to your old culture. And understand, you have people of my culture and of other cultures, and because it's not just my culture, the Caucasian culture that's coming through the television tube, the television screen, I'm going to say, because it's not a tube no more. That's the way it used to be years ago. But television, you have people that's being paid good money to deceive you, to trick you, to lie to you. They're coming through your television screen. They're coming through your radio station. They're coming through your computer screen. They're coming through your tablets. And they're coming through your telephone screen. And these people are getting paid to say, do, and be whatever evil that the people on top in positions want you to think and to believe. Because they know you, the people, have no strength. And you, the people, are going to follow whatever we put out. Whatever style we say, whatever slang we promote, you're going to start saying it and you're going to start doing. So we say now, athletes, entertainers, tattoo yourself up. Because we know you're going to follow. You, the so-called black people, we're going to make it because it came in the book. Listen to Professor Griffin, the things that he say and tell you. They was making it popular before they even said it. To call you a nigger. And now you done called yourself, and let's making it popular. You got comedians. I'm going to say nigger anyway. Come on, you sound foolish to me. Because I have to think about all the people that died. Got their heads cut off. They got lynched. Hanging from trees. I got to think about all the people that was from the Tulsa, Oklahoma. The bombings that happened. The looting. The trucks of dead bodies, countless dead bodies of my people, men, women, boys, and girls. Their homes were looted. Have you ever watched the documentary to that? They were called niggers. Then you have part of my people, my culture, that's scared of the people in power and of Caucasian powers, so they feel like they need to kiss up and to be accepted. And these are the things that are going in the world. But you're helping implement martial law quicker. The world is already in a depopulation state. That's told right of us down in Atlanta with the Georgia Stones. There's over 7 billion people on this earth, and they're trying, their goal is to bring it down to 500 million. That's out in the open. What you going to do? That's why our food is chemically induced. That's why they promote drugs, all types of prescriptions, and on and on and on. And you all are so caught up in your world, your own little world, you don't even understand what's going on because you caught up in your own neighborhood. Your mentality is too much into what we rapping about. And you say you love your mothers, you say you love your fathers, and you say you love your loved ones, but yet you do those things that's worthy of grief on your parents that you say you love. Now your parents are worried about you, how they gonna come up with this money to get you bail, and now you've been sentenced to life, 25 to life, 15 years, 5 years, 2, 3, 1, and now your parents is dying, and you cause grief on them because of the things that you do. But yet you say you love them. You go to school and you act a fool and a clown, but yet you say you love them. It's the parents' responsibility and it's the guardian's responsibility to bring up a child in the way they should go. That's scripture. The Most High God hold you accountable, mother. The Most High God holds you accountable, father, to raise your children right, because you are the two that got together sexually and had sexual intercourse that produced that child, to produce that baby, to produce that infant. And now, since they're on this earth, it's your responsibility to take care of them and to raise them right. Teach them about life. Teach them how to be a man. Teach them how to be a girl. Teach them how to be a woman, I mean to say. You understand? Teach them about the ways of life, positive. I've heard parents say, I'm going to teach, even on television, I heard interveners say, I'm going to teach my son how to be a pimp. Come on. They get paid for producing this negativity, but the Most High God, who a lot of you have forgotten exists, is going to be judging you. The scriptures say we're going to be judged on even our imaginations and our thoughts. And for my people, it seems like a people that's oppressed because you feel like we're not in slavery. You feel like you're free now. But no, you're not so much in slavery physically, but mentally you're in slavery. You see, and I got much respect for Martin Luther King. Much respect for him. But one thing I just have to be against is integration. Why? Because now there's nobody talking about being free. Because a lot of my people feel like they're already free. Integration really wasn't good. Why? Because now look at my people. Detroit. The Arabs own most of the gas station. I'm going to say 99%. It may be even 99% of the half of the gas stations, the grocery stores, the corner stores, the clothing stores. You understand? So now you, the so-called black people, why do you feel like you don't get any respect? Because you don't own nothing. For you have to go to other cultures for your wants and your needs. That's your rich, your poor, your middle class. They all have to go. I don't care if the so-called black people, it doesn't matter if you make multi-millions. It doesn't matter if you're a multi-billionaire. You're rich, your middle class, and your poor have to go to other cultures a very high percentage of the time to get your needs and your wants, your food, your sweets. You have to go to other cultures, so you don't have no respect. That's why you have Arabs, Asians, and other cultures, and the people from India that don't disrespect you when you go in there and buy, because they know you have to come to us So they'll disrespect your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, and your children because you're considered, and include me, as a weak people because you own nothing. We opened up business and the system is for them. That's why they're able to do that. That's why they're able to open up businesses in your neighborhood and where you live and where you sleep. Now you go out and work your 40 hours a week, 50 hours a week, and earn your money, your income, or whatever it is you earn. Even if you're on welfare, get your check once a month with your food stamps. I think it comes on a card now. And you take your little money or whatever you want, if it's clothing, shoes, food, go to a restaurant, you got to go to another culture. Now they're saying you got to come to us to get what you want. They don't have no respect for you because you don't even know how to come together as a people, to raise yourselves up as a people. You have no economic power. We have no respect for you. For what? You're the weakest people. You think you're strong because you know how to talk good. You think you're strong because you know how to use the greatest slang. You think you're tough because you can hang in the streets and you can fight and hold your own. And you're a weak people. You're just doing what we want you to do. We want you to act a fool. Because you're proving that your lives is not even worthy. We considered you 2/5 of a human being back in slavery. The Constitution wasn't even written for you. And now things has changed and now look how you act. You the original people of earth. Just look at the Bible, where civilization started. There's a lot of Africans right now that say that they don't respect the so-called black African Americans over here because they won't take advantage of that education. But yet your people created science, math, established governments and societies. And a lot of you have become fools. And you laugh at those that get A's and B's and that's on the honor roll. Those are the people that's going to be your boss. Once you get grown, young people, you want to hang, skip class, fight, and act a fool. And those same people that's getting A's and B's is on the, and that's on the honor roll is going to be your boss. And they're going to dictate to you what you got to do. So you laugh at them today, but you'll be submissive for them, under them tomorrow. But you have no wisdom to do that, to understand that. You have to come to us for your needs and wants, and we're supposed to respect you. Because we can disrespect you today, you still going to buy our chips, our soda, our pop, our cupcakes, our groceries, your meat. You still going to come to us and get your needs and your wants. So we can say to you whatever we want to say to you. Because we know the state that you in is a weak-minded, and that's why you're comfortable in the state that you're in. That's why you're comfortable being the underdog. That's why you're comfortable being divided as a people. That's why you're comfortable of being jealous. Even your rich, when they advertise other people's stuff, of other cultures. That's why you only think you're the biggest consumers. You know how you're big. The only thing you know how to do is get other people rich. That's all you know how to do. When you boast and brag, that's the only thing you know how to do. I got a so-and-so type of handbag. I got these type of shoes. We sit here and we laugh at you because you don't even understand and realize the condition and the state that you're in. And we laugh at you because we know you're a weak-minded people. We know you have no direction. We know you have no control. You're rich, you're middle class. Always boast and brag on our things and what we make and create. We hide your history. We hide your inventions. We don't teach you your history in school. So we consider you all the fool. And those of you that kiss up to our other cultures because they even reject their own. Even though the Most High God made all people, and I'm just saying, He made them black, right? Dark-skinned people, colored people. But yet a lot of you want to be light-skinned. You cause division. It's easy for us to put division between you all. You're adults acting like a fool and acting like a clown and won't even control their own children. We see all of this from the top. We laugh at you. That's why we have no respect for your life. That's why the green light is to go ahead and to kill you. Put you in the prisons and to kill you and take your life. Because what? Because everybody looks at the television and what we dictate you are is what their impression is of what you are. So you all that's educated, smart, and do know how to control yourselves, we don't shine the light on you. We rather shine the light on the foolish people in your culture. And then the whole world will have the impression that all of you all are like this or like that. That is how you're being seen. Everybody want to be accepted. Then you had a Caucasian culture that live in the suburbs and out in the counties. They feel like they're missing out. Come from two-parent families. They come from stabilized families, but yet they feel like they are missing out. One of the smart things, I remember this fella named Walter was a few years older than me. We was in high school. He went to a school called Cass Tech. And to go to Cass Technical High School in Detroit, a person had to have an A and B average. He went there, dropped out of that school and started hanging. And I remember one day I was sitting on my porch on the corner of North Line and Interville on the west side of Detroit. He was walking by going home and he came on the porch and he started talking to me. And he was telling me how when he was coming up in elementary school, middle school, and when he got into high school, he said he was doing his homework every day. He said he was bringing A's and B's home and he was making the honor roll. But he was looking at the other children that was hanging in the streets, just drinking, smoking weed, and trying to be cool. And he said he felt like he was missing out. He said so he started changing his ways and started hanging out to become a thug. He said he found out that life wasn't nothing because it was a bunch of backstabbers, fake and phony people. We cool today, we'll laugh today, let's hang today, but the first time it comes for your neck or his neck, you get in a situation where his neck or your neck is on the line or her neck is on the line, that person is going to look out for themselves. A very high percentage of the time, the person is going to look out for themselves and throw you under the bus. And that's the way it is in the streets. You think all these people out here are your friends. Come on, majority of these people out here ain't your friends. Live and die, right? Let it be a tight situation and see if you get thrown under the bus. But we boys today, we girls today, I've been and seen it all. I got charged with an armored car robbery and they tried to bring another armored car robbery that they tried to charge me with. My trial lasted for 2 weeks because they said I was responsible for a total of it's like $600,000. And I remember people came in court and lied and sung like a bird, just lying. Because if it was their neck or my neck or somebody else's neck, everybody turned out to children that they grew up, like they say, we were friends from the sandbox. Turned on each other. But yet, you want to hang in the streets with so-called people that's your friend. I wrote a little about that in my book. You see, I was 2 young ladies. I had a high school sweetheart, and I had no desire to do drugs. I remember, and I was shocked when the situation happened, but at that time, I really loved her deeply. And I remember we ended up getting married, and she came to the house, came home with some weed. And I tried it because I loved her and I thought it was going to make the sex more enjoyable. But it didn't do anything to me, and I thank the Most High God for that. Didn't do nothing to me. I didn't feel no effect. And I remember there was another young lady, the same scenario. I was like 24 years old, 25 years old at that time. And I tried weed, and it didn't do nothing. I thank the Most High for that. You see, so I've never been a person. That was 2 times I could have been hooked up on drugs, and I'm glad I didn't. Then one time I was at a party at this hotel, and they had cocaine on the dresser. And I remember this fella telling me, "This cocaine right here," and we both dipped our fingers in it, put it on our tongue. It numbed my tongue, and it gave me a sensation through my whole body that scared me. Because that sensation was better than sex. And it scared me. I told myself I would never, ever, ever do that again. So I'm not judging you all for messing up. I'll be a hypocrite if I judge. But it's all about not what we did yesterday, but what we're going to do today. How we're going to improve our lives today. How we're going to practice to be better today. So I want you all to sit together, mother, father, sister, brother, and I need you all to sit down and reason within yourselves on your life. And that's why the Speakers of Organization LLC was created. Because we care about you financially, we care about you spiritually, and we care about you naturally. And right here, even on my desk right here, I have checks. And right here on our checks, it says the Speaker of Organization LLC, and our subtitle with our company is causing, causing life-changing experiences. And that's our subtitle. And then we have the address, telephone number right here. We want to pay you. We want to pay you. We want you to become an executive distribution associate of our company. I want to sign a check for you. I want to send this money to you. That's what I want to do. I want to send this money to you. I want to write a check from our company to you. The Speakers of Organization LLC. And that's why we're here. We want to change people's lives. We want you to become better. I don't want you to live like a wild dog. I don't want you to live like a wild animal. And that's what we're here for. I'm going to tell you how you can get out. And I'm going to mention something. I'm going to read right here. I'm going to just bring something up real quick. Right here. What I want to read to you is 2 Chronicles chapter 7, verse 14. So if you want to know how you can get out your situation, and even as my culture, who are the Hebrews, do your study and find out who the true Hebrews are that the Most High God has created and why they're in the condition that they're in. But what I want to read, this right here, if you want to come out your situation. The Most High God said, if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven, and I will forgive their sins and will heal their land. And that's what it's all about. So if you want to know the answer right there, how you can turn yourself around in my culture as a people, and if you want to change your situation around, you have to turn to the Most High. You have to. There's a movie out, it's called War Room. Now I understand, like I said, I don't promote the name of Jesus. I promote his Hebrew name, which is Esho. And that's spelled E-A-S-H-O-A. That's E-A-S-H-O-A. If you go to the Whitaker Encyclopedia and type in Esho, E-A-S-H-O-A, and hit enter, Jesus Christ is going to come up. Because the Messiah's Hebrew name was Esho. The Messiah spoke Aramaic when he walked the earth. That's what the Hebrews spoke. The Hebrews spoke Aramaic. That was the Hebrew language. That's why you can go to the Wikipedia encyclopedia online and type in Esho, E-A-S-H-O-A, ASHOA, and Jesus Christ is going to come up. So I don't mention him as Jesus Christ. And the Most High God, in his Hebrew name, I call him Ahia. And that's cool for it, right? Because I speak a native language. It's all right for me to call the Most High God by his Hebrew name, because I'm Hebrew by nature. By bloodline, I'm Semitic. Do your history. Read the 28th chapter of Deuteronomy. Read from Babylon to Timbuktu. Read the book, The 13th Tribe. Read the book, The Invention of the Jewish People. A Jew and a Hebrew, they are not the same. They're just like oil and water. Oil and water, both liquid. They both can be in the same area, but they would not mix. A Jew and a Hebrew doesn't mix. Two different individuals. Do your study. Go and read about 70 AD when Rome invaded Israel, and it's estimated that over 1 million Hebrews fled all up and down West Africa. So you have to do your study and research to learn real truth, because we live in a world of deceptions. We live in a world full of lies. A lot of things that's untrue. So I want you all, and I hope I said some things that will bring some knowledge